What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video, and we find ourselves talking about the Switch again. There's just so much to get into, so many good games to talk about, so many different things happening in the game industry space, and I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys who join me every morning at 4:30 a.m. PT / 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time to talk the latest in gaming and of course with Nintendo. So let's go ahead and talk about it. You guys see the title, you guys know what's going down. We've got a discussion here and a lot of different points to bring up. But is 2021 Nintendo's most important year since 2017? I think so, and I'm going to give you guys a number of reasons why it's their most important year. But even more important than it being their most important year, this is how they're actually going to smash 2021 in the face. I mean, we've talked about it before. I made a previous video saying that, 2021 is looking pretty hype for the Nintendo Switch, but let's talk about some of the details surrounding why it's important. So if you look at the competition, of course, competition breeds excellence. Without that push, that constant struggle, you're never going to achieve amazing things. You've got to have that. And obviously with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, having a really good launch, especially with the PlayStation 5 and with more games on the way from Sony and Microsoft when it comes to major first-party and third-party developers out there, Nintendo definitely has to keep up on their game. So the push from the competition and competing for people's time, that's the most important thing, competing for the time of people. A lot of people do not have time to play every single game and play every single system that they want. So in order to kind of compete for that time, Nintendo has to have superior content in terms of what they think they can deliver to consumers. It's got to be content that's unique. It's got to be content that gamers feel is good enough to spend their time on, or is better than what's out there on other platforms. And for the most part, Nintendo has delivered on that for each individual consumer. Now, of course, you can say the same thing with Microsoft and Sony. They've all captured what they think is superior content, and in the end, that's what makes a great, big, and free market out there, to where we have the explosive sales that we see across the board with the PlayStation 5, the Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch. So I like that. But at the end of the day, it is a business. At the end of the day, Nintendo has to make sure that they keep up when it comes to the content and what they deliver, because they don't have the major third-party support that Microsoft and Sony has when it comes down to it, right? They don't have all of these big shiny PlayStation 5 performance mode and games and cross-gen stuff and all this cool things that are coming to these systems. So the competition is one of the most important reasons why 2021 will be one of Nintendo's most important years. Will they be able to keep up? Will they be able to supply those dope games? And I think that, yeah, based on what we've seen so far and what we're going to talk about, they're definitely there. Now let's talk about the next thing when it comes down to it, and that is major third-party games that are built for the Nintendo Switch. So this is something that's a very interesting dynamic with fans and third parties, which has been very back and forth when it comes to what consumers want and what third parties are thinking. We all know the history of the Nintendo Switch, what happened before with the Wii U and how third-party developers felt. But if you don't know, I'll break it down very quickly for you guys. Third-party developers didn't trust the Nintendo Switch platform. They thought it might be another Wii U situation. They were very apprehensive, I would say, and hesitant to support it with anything major because there's no install base there. It could end up like another Wii U and they could waste money, or it won't be worth their time and resources when they can put that into something else. You can never get back that time once you spend it on something that fails. So they're very apprehensive about it. But now that the Nintendo Switch is going into its fourth complete year on the market as of March 2021, it's pretty clear that many developers have said, okay, it's worth the investment for multiple different games. We're seeing it with Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is coming out next year. Major third-party game that's going to be exclusive to the Switch. We're seeing it with Capcom as well. They had tons of ports and ports and ports. They see that the install base has matured with 70 million units plus. And of course, what do we got here? We've got Monster Hunter Rise, in addition to Monster Hunter Stories 2 being made exclusively with the Switch in mind. Plus, there's rumors of a Switch exclusive, or more like Switch focused, not exclusive, but Switch focused Resident Evil game, and also some other titles as well that I've covered before. Make sure you check out my videos on the Capcom leaks. Plus, if you look at it, there's other developers too, right? Square Enix, like The World Ends With You, or more like Neo, The World Ends With You, that's coming, and that's pretty much a Switch focused platform, a Nintendo focused platform. You're looking at stuff like the Trials of Mana game. So there's multiple games out there that developers are confident in and with the Switch system. Also, Disgaea 6, that's another game as well. No More Heroes 3, that's another game. Bravely Default 2. The list goes on and on when it comes to major third-party games or third-party developed games that Nintendo is helping out or publishing or doing whatever to boost the status of that game coming to the platform in 2021. To me, that is a very important part and nucleus of what Nintendo's going to be doing and why it's their most important year, because in 2017, they had to prove that, hey, we're going to have a number of amazing games that can come out and we can compete with these other platforms. Now in 2021, okay, can you compete with these other platforms? What games do you have? Do you have a lot of them? Is there first and third party? And right now it's proving that's to be the case when it comes down to it. So very important on that front. Major third party games that are built for the system, not shoddy ports, not rushed, not, okay, this is just the bad version of it, but actual games built with the Switch strengths in mind, optimized for portable play in addition to home console play, using the features, the HD Rumble, all of that stuff. So I think that 2021 has already proved from what has been announced that that's already looking pretty good. Now, next up, I want to talk about this because this is always very important. And of course, that's Nintendo first party games. That is the lifeblood of the system. That's what makes Nintendo, their identity. And I think that first party games are going to be absolutely crucial in 2021. Nintendo's development cycles are finally catching up, right? 2019, big year, a lot of different games. You're not gonna have that type of explosive game releases every single year, especially with the coronavirus that kind of happened and slowed things down just a little bit here and there. But with 2021, a lot of these developers that were working on those games in 2018, 2019 have restarted those development cycles. Now we're 2 years in or 3 years in from their last release, and it's time to talk about their next release. We've discussed it with Monolith Soft, what's going down with their new Xenoblade game or a new IP. I think that might be ready to go. We're looking at Intelligent Systems. They finished up their Paper Mario, which had probably been done for a while now, guys, just to kind of let you know on that one. Fire Emblem Three Houses, that was a 2019 game. That's been finished up for a while. What's next up for them? There's been rumors on that as well. The Mario team, obviously Mario Kart, it's been a while, right? Super Mario Odyssey, been a while for some of these games. They're kind of catching up. We got the Bowser's Fury and all that, but that was supposed to come out this year. I think that game is pretty much complete, right? So they're catching up with what's going on with the Mario team. So all these different major first-party developers, first-party teams are catching up, has already been developing their new games, and those could be ready to go or be announced in 2021. You also have to look at it. The big one here, guys, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, one of the most anticipated games in the world when it comes down to it, right? I mean, 2017, that was the launch. That was the key game that really got the Nintendo Switch off to where it needed to get and helped drive sales throughout the year when their other software was coming out. That was the game that you look back on and said, yeah, that was it. That was what sold me on the Switch when people were snapping it up at the very beginning when there wasn't a ton of content out there in the first month or so. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was that reliable game that you can go to and have a fantastic time. Now in 2021, it does seem, all right, we don't have a confirmation, but it does seem like Breath of the Wild will be ready to go maybe holiday or so of 2021, and that's going to be a big game for 2021. That's going to be something that's going to go toe-to-toe with some of the bigger games coming out as Microsoft and Sony get their development studios ready to go for the following year. So I think that the first party development, I think that the first party games obviously very important, but 2021 could be like that 2017 year where we see game after game after game that was coming out, right? Like 2017 was pretty hype. So I think that 2021 could be around that level, if not better, based on all the different things that Nintendo has been doing and how much bigger the install base and how dynamic the developer tools and range of Nintendo software has been getting with various different studios out there. Last but definitely not least, we're going to discuss new hardware. 2021 it's very much looking like there could be something new on the market. Now, if you look at it from 2021's perspective, 2019, 2 years ago, we had that new hardware with the Nintendo Switch Lite, which was a variant of the current Switch model, right? Same innards and everything. They just removed the Joy-Cons. They made the tech cheaper. They made it to where it was only portable only in order to serve another purpose, multiple households, all of that. And obviously they were Johnny on the spot with that because coronavirus, people staying in, having your own screen. It was a good thing, right? So what's going down for 2021? Well, it seems clear that new hardware could be launching with a revision of the current Switch. Now, I don't think it's going to be a brand new next gen Switch. A lot of people are saying, oh, it could be that, or this super crazy powerful Switch. I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, could they go a little bit further than what they did before with like a new Nintendo 3DS, make it beefier when it comes to the specs in comparison to what they've done? Absolutely. Could they implement some new technology with Nvidia because of the success of the Switch, because they've had multiple years to do so? Absolutely. Could it be a nice jump? It could be, but I'm not expecting anything crazy. But I do think it's a very important year because it does seem like they're going to be launching something in 2021 with a revision or some type of extra Switch, whether that's a home Nintendo Switch Home that you can't play portably, or it's something that's a Nintendo Switch Pro where it basically takes the best of the Switch Lite and the best of the regular Switch and combines them and even makes it better with better graphics and a better design and stuff like that. We just don't know at this point, right? We're gonna have to wait and see, but it's very clear that something is going to happen when it comes down to that, just based off of all of the smoke that is out there. Where there's smoke, there's definitely a little bit of fire, and there's been a lot of smoke with this. So we're gonna have to ultimately see what it ends up being, but I'm very confident that 2021 is a big year because of that, along with everything else that was discussed here. So what are you guys' thoughts when it comes to next year for the Nintendo Switch 2021? How important do you feel it is? What are your thoughts on what was said? I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you for the next one. Peace.